Hello and welcome to Express News. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. In the next half an hour, we'll get you all the latest news and updates. We'll start with our top story. President of the Inter-Parliamentary Union and Speaker of the National Assembly of Tanzania, Dr. Tulia Ackson, called on the Vice President of India and Chairman of the Indian Parliament's Upper House, Jagdeep Dhankar, in New Delhi. The third meeting of Indian-Russian Intergovernmental Commission on Military and Military Technical Cooperation was held in New Delhi. India's Adani Group Chairman Gautam Adani met King Jigme Khesar Namgyal Wangchuk of Bhutan and PM of Bhutan Dasho sharing top care during their visit to Adani's 30-gigawatt renewable energy site at Khavda and Mundra port. Bhutanese Prime Minister Sharing Topgay, who along with his King Jigme Khesar Namgyal Wangchuk wrapped up their three-day visit to Gujarat on Wednesday. Gujarat CM Bhupendra Patel bid farewell to them at the Ahmedabad airport. British Foreign Secretary David Lammy is in India on a two-day visit. It is the first high-level visit by a British minister to India. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will make back-to-back visits to Laos and Japan this month to attend meetings related to the Association of Southeast Asian Nations and the Quad. India's Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan has welcomed the verdict of Supreme Court on NEET. Education Minister said that the government is committed to safeguard the interest of the students of the country and their future is not tampered with. The Education Minister further reiterated the government's commitment in making the National Testing Agency that conducts the examinations as a zero-tamper-free and zero-error-free organization. In Jammu and Kashmir, an encounter is underway between security forces and terrorists in the Trumkhan area of Lolab of Kupwara district. In Jammu and Kashmir, in the ensuing firefight, one terrorist has been eliminated and an official was injured. Indian Coast Guard continues to combat fire on MV Maersk Frankfurt for fifth day amidst bad weather. Sustained efforts are being made by Indian Coast Guard ships and aircraft aided by specialized vessels off New Mangalore coast. The Indian Navy has ordered a detailed probe into the accident involving INS Brahmaputra warship. Indian Navy successfully evacuates a critically injured Chinese mariner from bulk carrier Zhongshan Men 200 in from Mumbai. India's Supreme Court has ordered that the status quo be maintained at the Shambu border near Ambala, where farmers have been protesting since February 13th. In a special operation by security forces, a notorious Naxal terrorist was arrested in Chhattisgarh. The suspect was involved in various incidents involving IED blast, planting IEDs during assembly elections, murdering villagers during Jan Adalat, etc. Special Task Force of the northern state of Uttar Pradesh has arrested cyber criminal Rabbani, who used to blackmail girls using AI technologies and deepfake technique. Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir Manoj Sinha unveiled the logo, website and teaser of the inaugural edition of Kashmir Marathon, which will be held on 20th October in Srinagar. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Ladakh's Dras on July 26 to mark the 25th anniversary of Kargil Vijay Divas. Preparations underway at Kargil War Memorial. The share market continued its fall on Wednesday with the BSE Sensex at 280.16 points to 80,148.88. While the broader NSE index declined 65.55 points to 24,413.50. MCX gold contract for August delivery traded 0.42% higher at 68,801 per 10 grams. While MCX silver contracts for September delivery were up 0.21% to 85,100 per kg. Indian rupee ended at 83.71 per dollar against Tuesday's close of 83.69. Top industry leaders and market experts have hailed the centre's economic outlook post-budget presentation. The Indian diaspora has warmly embraced Budget 2024, commending its emphasis on economic growth and innovation. A day after Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman presented the Union Budget, Parliament opened on a heated note on Wednesday. India's Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar has raised concerns about the frequent suspension of regular business notices, noting that in the past 36 years, such motions have been taken up only 6 times. In Rajya Sabha, opposition MPs walked out, claiming that Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman's speech failed to mention non-BJP ruled states in a heated exchange FM defence allocation. At least 18 people were killed after a Saur Airlines plane crashed at the Tribhuvan International Airport in Nepal's capital Kathmandu on Wednesday. The crash occurred after the Pokhara-bound flight suffered a runway excursion during takeoff. Dead bodies were brought to Teaching Hospital, from where kins of crash victims can collect bodies of their relatives. Bangladesh was crawling back to normalcy with limited internet and office hours after more than a week of chaos over student protests involving government job quotas. Nearly 200 deaths were reported in just over a week of violence in Bangladesh. Abuse survivors in New Zealand held a sit-in ahead of the release of an inquiry report. Describing the release of report as the beginning of healing, the crowd sang songs and carried colourful ribbons with them. The United States has invited the Sudanese army and the paramilitary rapid support forces for US-mediated ceasefire talks starting on August 14th in Switzerland. Calling on the Sudanese warring factions to attend the talks, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken said the conflict must end. RSF leader Mohammad Hamdan Dagalo said that they will constructively participate in the talks to achieve comprehensive ceasefire across the country and facilitate humanitarian access to all those in need. The goal of the Switzerland talks is to build on work from Jeddah and try to move the talks to the next phase. Thousands of protesters gathered near the US legislature in Washington, D.C., where Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will address the lawmakers. Ukraine's forces damaged a ferry in occupied Crimea that was allegedly being used by Russia's forces to transport military equipment. Retaliating to recent strikes by Ukrainian forces, a Russian drone attacked a port infrastructure and commercial and residential buildings. Ukraine's Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba in China till Thursday. Kuleba's visit is the first by a high-ranking Ukrainian official since Russia's full-scale February 2022 invasion. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin reaffirmed Washington, D.C.'s unwavering support for Ukraine in a call with Ukraine's Defense Minister Rustem Umerov. U.S. President Joe Biden will deliver a televised address to nation on Wednesday evening local time on his decision to drop out of the presidential race. A U.S. survey shows that Kamala Harris is more popular than Donald Trump. According to the first national poll, Harris has a fighting chance of overturning Trump's lead. Donald Trump's campaign filed a complaint with the Federal Election Commission. The Trump campaign argued that Harris undertook a brazen money grab. North Korean balloons carrying trash have landed near South Korea's presidential office. The objects in the balloons contain no contaminants or other risks, said in a statement. In one of the second largest anti-drug operations, Mexico's Navy seized and destroyed a drug lab in the northern city of El Dorado. All right, we'll slip into a very short break. On the other side, more stories. Keep watching Express News.
This week on Defence Dynamics, we dive into the turbulent waters of Indian Ocean, where shifting alliances and growing rivalries are redefining the security landscape. Discover how India's announcement to upgrade its military bases on Lakshadweep Island is poised to counter the nexus between China, Pakistan and now the Maldives. And also how the simmering instability in India's neighborhood, that is Pakistan and Bangladesh, could have a wider impact on the security dynamics of the whole region. Do tune in for strategic insights that will guide India's geopolitics in days ahead on a special episode on DD India, Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. IST.
Welcome back. You're watching Express News. Some more stories. Typhoon Gaimi and a southwest monsoon brought heavy rain on Wednesday to Manila and northern provinces in Philippines, flooding roads and disrupting everyday life. Residents in a village in Manila were forced out of their flooded homes on Wednesday after Typhoon Gaimi brought heavy rains, forcing schools and stock markets to close up. Malls and schools were closed in Taiwan's Taipei and neighboring New Taipei city on Wednesday, with streets almost deserted as Typhoon Gaimi advanced to the island country. Many international and almost all domestic flights were cancelled at Taipei's Songshi and airport on Wednesday, bracing for Typhoon Gaimi making landfall on Taiwan's east coast. Typhoon Gaimi, which started moving towards Taiwan, approached Japan's Ishigaki Island early on Wednesday, bringing downpours and strong winds. Strong wind and heavy rain hit northeastern Taiwan's Yilan County. Wind and rain gathered strength, shutting eateries. Authorities in the Spanish community of Andalusia informed 175 fighters and various types of machinery and vehicles were fighting at least 5 fires. Out of control wildfires forced some 25,000 people to evacuate the tourist town of Jasper and its surroundings in Canada's Rocky Mountains early on Tuesday. Heavy rainfall lashed Delhi NCR areas, bringing huge relief from the humid weather. The Met Department has issued a yellow alert for the national capital and its adjoining areas. The IMD issued a red alert for multiple districts in Maharashtra in view of the heavy showers and thunderstorms predicted amid heavy rainfall in Mumbai, causing waterlogging in residential areas and roads. Alexandria's Mediterranean coast in Egypt is blanketed by overlapping umbrellas as thousands of Egyptians flock to the city's public beaches, escaping this summer's extreme heat waves. The number of accessible public beaches in Alexandria has been dwindling since 2015, coming down from 425 to a mere 75 in 2021. Croatia's Karinska Rivera Tourist Association is planning to apply to the Guinness World Record and pushing for Karin Sea as the smallest sea in the world. Though the sea is called the Bay by many, Croatia is claiming that the Karin Sea is smaller than Turkey's Sea of Marmara. The Peruvian government exhibited 33 archaeological items on Monday that were recovered from private collections in the United States, Canada, Australia and Switzerland. The recovered artifacts are the Andean nation's latest effort to recover its pre-Hispanic cultural heritage. Troy Gua, an artist based in Seattle, is making miniature versions of iconic musician Prince as a homage to their revered artist. Algerian volunteers are rescuing and relocating endangered flamingos from a dried-up pond. They have saved 283 flamingos, moving them to a safer habitat with water and food. An uncorrected proof copy of J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone is slated for an auction in Texas for avid Potterheads and collectors. It is one of the first published copies of the novel, making it a precious item among fans. Sweet Pickle Books, a bookstore in New York City, has a fascinating proposal. Visitors can exchange used books for jars of pickles. Indigenous communities across Brazil gathered in a sacred territory in the Sao Paulo province over the weekend to celebrate annual Indigenous Games. The games featured a variety of sporting events along with wearing their traditional garments and practice their traditional songs and dances. An estimated 60,000 people participated in Cologne's colourful Christopher Street Day LGBTQ Pride Parade. It is Europe's largest carnival. Elderly stray dogs have found a home with toys, beads, food and the love from an entire community in the Bolivian capital of La Paz. The shelter was created to provide a proper home for the dogs. Volunteers play with the dogs, take care of them and clean the space. A drone show themed around the beloved Japanese manga series Doraemon wows thousands of fans and tourists in Hong Kong. In 15 minutes display, 1,000 drones illuminated the skies over Victoria Harbour, forming patterns that resembled characters from Doraemon and its futuristic gadgets. The full-scale prototype of E's flying taxi was unveiled for the first time, marking a significant accomplishment for the electric aircraft manufacturer. The company aims to obtain certification and enter service in 2026. He expects to fly the prototype by the end of this year or early 2025. Olympic visitors in Paris can send home a smell of France with a recently released commemorative scratch and sniff stamp showing the country's famed backing. Canadian singer Celine Dion met fans in Paris amid media reports about her possible performance at the Paris Olympic Games 2024. American rapper Snoop Dogg is set to carry the Olympic flame through the streets of St. Denis in the final stretch before the opening ceremony of the Paris Games on Friday. The heavily anticipated Joker movie sequel titled Joker Folie à Deux dropped a fresh trailer with a mesmerizing Frank Sinatra track. The movie is set to arrive on theatres on October 4 this year. The 81st Venice Film Festival is set to feature a blockbuster lineup of Hollywood bigwigs such as Joaquin Phoenix's Joker 2, Brad Pitt's Wolves, Angelina Jolie's Maria, among other star-studded titles. Marvel Studios President Kevin Feige recently said the return of fan favorite star Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man and Chris Evans' Captain America is possible, but only with careful consideration of their legacies. Hollywood star George Clooney has officially decided to endorse the Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris in her campaign for 2024 US elections. Latest reports suggest that Hollywood stars and former couple Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez are making an effort at a reconciliation. Both have been allegedly writing letters to each other to keep in touch, even with the divorce papers ready to be filed. Bollywood star Sanjana Sanghi took to Instagram to share stills from the set of Dil Bechara as the late actor Sushant Singh Rajput's star completed 4 years of its release. Bollywood movie Bad News starring Vicky Kaushal, Tripti Dimri and Emmy Work is maintaining its box office hold with an estimated earning of 3.65 crore Indian rupee on Tuesday. Olympic silver medalist Mirabai Chanu has started training in France ahead of the Paris Olympics, which is just 2 days away. India's unified payments interface has begun to operate in Europe. UPI has partnered with French digital payment platform Lyra to enable Indian tourists to use UPI. France has been conditionally picked as the host of 2030 Winter Games and must now deliver key financial guarantees in a timeline to be set by the International Olympic Committee. As Paris gets ready to host the Olympic Games, the French restaurants are looking forward to serve some of their famous cuisines. Defending champion India thrashed Nepal by 82 runs in its final group match to confirm its semi-final spot at Women's Asia Cup T20 tournament. Bangladesh defeated Malaysia by 114 runs to book semi-finals berth against India in Women's T20 Asia Cup in Sri Lanka. Charit Asalanka has been named as the captain of Sri Lanka T20 team for the upcoming series against India. The series begins on July 27th. Andrei Rublev advances to quarterfinals of Croatia Open after he overcame a second set fight back from Camilo Hugo Carabelli to win 6-4, 7-5. Two-time Olympic men's singles champion Andy Murray confirmed that he will end his career next week at the Paris Games. The International Olympic Committee has decided to create Olympic eSports Games. The first edition will be held in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in 2025. Alright, that's all we have in this edition of Express News. You stay tuned for more news and updates. Namaskar.
This week on Defense Dynamics, we dive into the turbulent waters of Indian Ocean, where shifting alliances and growing rivalries are redefining the security landscape. This covers
complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.